Dear students, good day. I am Somasundaram. I am handling NEET chemistry in Bharatdasanar Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Arakonam. Today, we are going to discuss about the basics to understand the concepts of solid state and also how to solve using the basics to how to solve the problems in solid state. We all well aware of what is matter. Matter is which everything occupies space and volume. Matter classified into three. One is solid, second liquid, and the third one is gaseous. See, what is a solid? A solid which has more intermolecular force of attraction and low intermolecular distance. Because of this kind of kinetic molecular behavior, they are having a definite shape and they are showing hard and brittle nature as well as low compressibility. So, in solid, because of their less intermolecular distance, they can't flow, but they can vibrate. It shows different kind of properties. What are they? In solid state, the particles are not moving randomly, they are just simply vibrating. They have definite shape and volume, yes, it has some definite boundary. Solids have high density, yes, they are closely packed, because of that it shows high density. Solids have high and sharp melting point, which is dependent on the strength and value of binding energy. Because of the closely bounded nature, they are showing sharp melting point and high melting point. They are very low compressible because they don't have any gap between the molecules. They show very low diffusion. Yes, we can't diffuse them together because there is no gap between the molecules, that is why. And solids. Solids can be classified into two categories. One is crystalline solid, another one is amorphous solid. First, our aim is here to understand what is crystalline. So, what is a crystalline solid? In this type of solids, the molecules or the atoms or ions, they are arranged in a regular manner and it has a very well defined network structure. Because of that, it shows different kind of properties. See, I have given a image. See, in this image, the molecules, carbon molecules are arranged regularly and the regular pattern continues for long range. So, these kind of solids are known as crystalline solids. And they show, because of that properties, it shows different kind of useful properties. What are they? See, they have well defined geometrical pattern. Because of that, it shows sharp melting point and definite heat of fusion, and it has anisotrophic nature. What is anisotrophy? See, in physical property, we have some of the properties which is known as directional properties. That means the properties which are depending on the direction of how we are measuring it. So, these kind of properties are known as directional properties. It shows different values. When you take the directional properties, it shows different values in different direction. That is why they are known as anisotrophy. Next one, anisotrophy. The electrical and thermal conductivities are the best example for anisotrophy. Refractive index also a best example. Next, they are generally incompressible because of their closely packed nature. The general example of crystalline solids are quartz, diamond. Next, we see amorphous. Amorphous, it has a lesser importance. Anyway, we will discuss about amorphous. In this type of solids, the arrangement is not longer range, it is shorter range. And they are regarded as supercooled liquids. They are not considered a true solid. Actually, crystalline is the true solid, amorphous is not a true solid. See, I have given an image. In this image, if you see, the regular arrangement is breaking off of the portion and then there is an irregularity. Because of that, they are acting as a amorphous one. They don't have sharp melting point, they are isotrophic because when we saw crystalline nature, they show anisotrophy, but amorphous shows isotrophic nature. The general example for amorphous is plastics and rubber and glass. Anyhow, we are getting into more details about crystalline solids. The crystalline solids are classified into three categories. The four category. The first one is ionic crystal. What is an ionic crystal? An ionic crystal is made up of the ionic forces acting between the oppositely charged ions. For example, in our home we can see sodium chloride, that means a table salt. In sodium chloride is actually a very good crystal. There is a intermolecular electrostatic force of attraction acting between sodium plus ion and chlorine minus ion. So because of this very strong held force, they are making a very good crystalline solid. See here, as an ionic sodium chloride is an example. As an ionic crystalline solid, they are having ion-ion forces acting between them. And because of that closely packed nature, they are always brittle and show hardness, and it has high melting point, and mostly it is acting as an insulator in a solid state, but in fused state they can conduct electricity because of the movement of ions. Next, examples are sodium chloride, potassium chloride and magnesium chloride. See here, there is a representation which explains clearly, which shows clearly about ionic solid, ionic crystal. See here, there is no definite bond between them because generally ionic compounds have no directional bonds, so there is no direction, but they are closely packed because of the attraction between oppositely charged ions. The next type of solid, crystalline solid, is molecular crystal. See, in molecular crystal, the molecules like a covalently bonded molecules, but they are very short, a simple molecule like a carbon dioxide, water. These kind of molecules are held together by weak van der Waals forces or dispersion forces, or maybe sometime hydrogen bonding. Because of that, it can make crystals. So because of the weak forces, they show very soft nature and low boiling point, and they have insulation property. The example is water, carbon dioxide, bromine and methane. See, there is a representation. In this representation, it is shown that molecules are fluxing together. Okay, because of the fluxing nature, they show very soft nature. Next, covalent network. See here, the bond is formed because of covalent nature, but the covalent bond is going entirely and it is making a very big network structure. For example, see, it is an example, it is actually diamond molecule. In this diamond molecule, carbon making a bond with another carbon, like that it goes on increases. So the bond is making a very big network. Because of that, they are making a perfect crystalline solid. So these are all known as covalent networked crystalline solids, and they show hardness and very high melting point, and the best examples are diamond and silicon dioxide. Actually, silicon dioxide referred here as quartz. The last one, metallic crystal. We already know there is a bond called metallic bond. Metallic bond is between metal positive ion and then the free electrons, the pool of electrons. So here also, because of the attraction between metal positive ion and then the electron, they are packed closer and it is making a perfect crystals. All the metals can be given as an example. See, because of the metallic bond, they show variable hardnesses. Yes, they have flexibility, malleability, ductility, and they have electrical conductance also. So here is a perfect example for crystallization of metal. Copper is given here. So during the electrolysis process, copper is crystallizes into a perfect crystalline metal. Now anyway, the study is here to concentrate on crystals. So if you want to study about crystals, we should certain about some of the properties of crystals. The first one is, what is a crystal? A crystal is a well arranged network, orderly mannerly arranged, a network one, solid one, and it has a long range order, that is known as a crystal, and the boundaries are defined, and it has a definite boundary, and it shows a very useful property. Space lattice. What is a space lattice? The arrangement of constituents like atom, ions and molecules in different sides in three-dimensional space is called space lattice. We should watch these two letters, three-dimensional space and different sides, how the atoms are arranged in different sides and makes a three-dimensional space. This is known as crystal lattice, space lattice. The next one, unit cell. See, this is a perfect example for a space lattice. But here, see, there is a repeating pattern. What is it? This cube. See, you can see 8 different, the same cube is repeating again and again. So, the repeating unit is known as unit cell. So, here this is the unit cell. See here, there is a cube. And this cube in space lattice has 8 repeating units. This is the first one, and second, third, fourth, and fifth front, and sixth. Back side we have seventh one, and the last one, eighth. What is face? In unit cell, there is a boundary. The boundary has definite shape. The boundary is actually called as face. In a cubic unit cell, there are 6 faces are available. What are the faces? See here, we have the top face 1, and then the bottom face second one. We have left side base and right side face and front face and then the back side face. So, there are 6 faces available in the crystal unit cell. Edge. What is an edge? An edge which is formed by the intersection of 2 adjacent faces. See here, we can take any 2 faces. For example, this face and the adjacent face, the front one. Okay. See, the line which is joining the 2 adjacent faces is here, this one. So, this one is known as edge. So, in a crystal lattice, in a unit cell, how many edges are possible? There are 12 edges are possible. See, in the top layer, there are 4 edges. In the bottom layer also, we have 4 edges. And finally, the middle portion has 4 edges. So, totally 12 edges are available in a unit cell. Okay. What is an interfacial angle? The angle between the perpendiculars of 2 intersecting faces is known as interfacial angle. There are 3 different interfacial angles, namely alpha, beta, gamma, and we already discussed edges. What are the edges? A, B, C. See here, we have z-axis. The z-axis has been taken as A, the edge A, and then the y-axis has been taken as C, edge C. This is edge C, and then the x-axis has been taken as edge B. Now, how to find out the interfacial angle? See, in between B and C, there is something missed, that is A. So, if A is missing, the angle should be denoted as alpha. So, the angle between B and C must be alpha. Next one, and the angle between C and A, what is missing? B is missing. So, then the angle must be known as beta. So, this is the angle between C and A should be known as beta. Next one, the angle between A and B, the missing letter is C, then the angle must be gamma. Gamma. So, in this way, we can represent the interfacial angles alpha, beta, gamma. Now, crystal system. If you want to know the examples of crystal systems, there are 32 different kind of possibilities available, but the scientist Bravais referred that only the 14 different type of lattices are possible, and the 14 different type of lattices can be shown by 7 different types of unit cells. What are the different types of unit cells? They are cubic, the first one, cubic, the next one, tetragonal, orthorhombic, and rhombohedral, hexagonal, monoclinic, and then the final one triclinic. See how can we differentiate these kind of different unit cells. See here, all the 7 crystal systems have been discussed here. See the first one, simple cubic. If you consider the simple cubic, I will give you simplest method to know or to understand the different type of systems. First, CTO. CTO. What is CTO? The C refers cubic, T refers tetragonal, and O refers orthorhombic. So we have to select these 3 simple unit cells. So first one cubic, the next one tetragonal, and then the next one orthorhombic. See, now we are going to find out the relationship between them. In simple cubic, the arrangement is well defined. So all the edges are equal and all the angles also equal, that is already equal to 90 degree. So which makes a perfect cubic sample, cubic crystal. So A is equal to B, B is equal to C, alpha is equal to beta, beta is equal to gamma, and that is equal to 90 degree. See, if you consider the simple cubic with tetragonal, that is a smaller deviation, that is A is equal to B, but B is not equal to C. That is some disorder which is happening in tetragonal. Now if you come to orthorhombic, now what is the disorder? A is also not equal to B and not equal to C. So the disorder is happening from simple cubic to tetragonal and then orthorhombic. In this way you can remember these 3 different kind of unit cells. Next one. Next we are going to see about hexagonal, rhombohedral, monoclinic, and then triclinic. First we see rhombohedral. Rhombohedral. See, in rhombohedral, A is equal to B is equal to C, but alpha, beta, gamma, that is also equal, but the angle is not equal to 90 degree. So there is a disorder happening here in the angle, not in the edges. So the disorder is happening in the angle. Previously all the 3 categories showed disorderness in edges only, not in the angle. First time rhombohedral shows disorderness in angle. Next one, if we compare with hexagonal, in hexagonal, see, in hexagonal shape A is equal to B, but the height is different because of that the C is not same. The C is not same. And then A and B, alpha and beta. The alpha and betas are exactly 90 degree, but the angle between A and B, that means gamma is actually 120 degree because it is a hexagonal shape. Because of the hexagonal shape of the top layer, it shows 120 degree angle. Next one, monoclinic and triclinic. Say monoclinic doesn't show any relation with A, B, C. All the edges are different. A is not equal to B, B is not equal to C. And what about the angle? Alpha and gamma is all 90 degree, but beta is not equal to 90 degree. And then the last one, triclinic. Triclinic has the most disordered structure. A is not equal to B, B is not equal to C, likewise alpha, beta, gamma, they are also not equal to 90 degree, that is known as triclinic. So thank you students. Today we discussed about some of the basic concepts regarding solid state, and it is very necessary to understand these basic concepts. Okay, through these basic concepts only we can solve all the NEET problems. Okay, and so if you have any doubt, you can contact us through email. We are very pleasured to help you out. Thank you very much.